So this Brave browser is a secure way to browse, with a built-in ad blocker that blocks ads that exploit your trust. And because you don't load all of their ads, your browsing experience is faster, better, and more secure. Now, I don't think I'm legally allowed to advertise the monetization benefits of the Brave browser.
We are going to get so much ass here, it's going to be sick. I'm talking like crazy, like boy band ass.
Big companies are making money off of you and your data all the time. That's kind of their business model. That's kind of the point. Get rewarded for watching ads. Get rewarded for your time. What they call the BAT, the basic attention token. If you're not using Brave yet, there's something wrong with you. Get Brave, browse better. NodeJS is JavaScript taken out of the browser and into a shell, a Unix bash or a Windows command prompt. JavaScript needs a JavaScript engine to run on, obviously. That engine traditionally sat exclusively in web browsers. With Node.js, we run JavaScript in a non-browser environment. Express is one of many frameworks that provide for us the ability to build out a full-stack web app. Express uses middleware, just think APIs or libraries. That helps us to write the backends for our web apps. Do you need routing? Express has middleware for that. Password encryptors? Express has middleware for that. Do you need debugging tools? Express has middleware for that. How about help transferring images from front end to back end to blah, blah, blah? Express has middleware for that. NPM, Node Package Manager, is a way of downloading and organizing all of these packages, all of these libraries. Think of it as a one-stop shop for helper libraries at your fingertips, code written for you so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. These three technologies work to give us full control over back-end development. With Node.js, we can use JavaScript, a language we're already familiar with from the front end. With NPM, we don't have to write every single piece of software feature ourselves. Things like a push notification capabilities, image processors. And with Express, we have a framework that lets us direct our users to different pages of our site. What does that one mean? We'll get to that in a second. To get up and running with this stack, just install Node.js. That's it. In the description below, there's a link to the Linux-based and then a Windows-based installation. Node.js gives us access to NPM. NPM gives us access to Express. So just install Node.js. All right, so go ahead and open up a command prompt if you're on Windows. If you're on Linux, open up a bash, depending on which installation you installed Node.js with. Navigate to any directory. And we're going to create a JavaScript file. I'm just going to call mine script.js and open it up with an editor. VI, Notepad, Visual Studio doesn't, WordPad doesn't matter. So open it up, and the first customary piece of code when you're learning a new language or a new coding environment, hello world. So save and quit that. Type in node and the name of the file, and we get the hello world. So just like that, we've written and executed our first JavaScript program outside of the internet browser environment. This is all Node is. It just lets you execute JavaScript without the need to embed that script into an index.html. And so we know how to use Node. Let's use NPM. If you've installed Node, you have NPM. So we're going to install a package called Moment. So NPM install, we'll do --save, and we'll say Moment. So with NPM, it's going to go and download and install this package called Moment. Now, depending on the setup of your environment, you might have to do, I'm speaking to the Linux guys, you might have to do a sudo or sudo. And so let's go back into our script.js, and we're going to import that package with a const. You can name the variable whatever you want. I'm just going to say moment is equal to require, and the package name moment, like that. M-O-M-E-N-T, perfect. And to use the package, all Moment is an API. It's a library that lets you manipulate dates a lot more easily. So year, month, day, seconds, hours, minutes, all that stuff. So instead of hello world, we're just going to say the date is, I'm going to do a plus, and we're going to invoke the moment. We're going to call the moment method, which is just the name of the variable here. And that returns a moment object. And that object has itself another method called format. And this is where we pass an argument to tell moment what format we want the date printed in. So I'm just going to say year, give me year, then give me month, give me day, hours, minutes, seconds, close that bracket, save and quit, and run the script again. And we get the date is, and that's all Moment does. It allows you to manipulate the date real easy like. All right, so we know how to use Node. We know how to use NPM. Let's use Express. Express is another API or a package that you have to download with NPM. So again, NPM install -- save, and we can just do Express like that. And it might take a little longer than Moment because it's a longer package or a larger package. All right, so we have Express installed. Go back into your script, and we're going to, of course, import that package. I'm just going to call it Express is equal to require Express. And let's see if I can do this without looking at my notes. All right, so we have the Express package imported. Express is a routing middleware. And so to get it up and running, let me just delete this line here. We have to create a new variable. I'll just call it app. And so we instantiate the server by calling the variable name plus the parentheses. And so now app is a piece of routing middleware. To use it, and if you're at all confused by this, don't worry. The next video is going to cover Express in depth. So just go with me on this. And so app.get, that's going to be our home route. I'm going to take the request. Again, if you don't know what I'm doing, do not worry about it. I'm just showing you what request is or what Express is. I'm going to copy this guy. App.get, I'm going to tell what is the time. Oh, put an E there. And in this guy, I'm just going to do a res.send. And I'm going to send hello world like that. And for this guy, I'm going to send, I should have deleted that line, huh? The date or the time. The time is plus, again, we'll use the moment. We'll use the format. I don't need the year. I want the time. So just go hours, minutes, seconds like that. Close off my brackets. And now we have to start the server. And so the server gets started with app.listen. And then we need the port number. So 3000. I think it might be a string, might be an int. We'll see. 3000. And then callback. And in this, I'll just say console.log. Server is up and running like that. All right, save, quit. Again, that number might have to be a string. We'll see. And run the script. Server is up and running. Now, server is up and running on port 3000 because I specified 3000 in the script. So open up a browser, go to localhost and port 3000, and we should get hello world. And so this is what Express is. We define routes, and then we send data based on what route the user hits. So that / was default route. So I get hello world. Remember that the second route was what time is it? And can I get what time is it? What is that route name? Let me close the server, open up the script. The route name was what is the time? That's the time. Node script, which starts the server. And the route was what is the time, not what time is it. What is the time? And we get the time is. And so what we've just done with this code, we've just created a REST API. And so all a REST API is, I'll have a link in the description. It's basically how your internet works. When you go to a browser, any sort of site, you notice these slashes. This is how it's coded on the back end. You have this /, so when the user hits the home directory, you send them something, the landing page. If they go to this part of your URL, then they get a different page. And so that's all Express is. It lets you set up routes and then give people, your users, different web pages based on those routes. And so again, the REST API is based on HTTP, and those HTTP methods can be get, we can have post, we can have things like delete, we can have things like put, we can have things like get. And so that's all Express is. And so now we know how to use Node, which lets us run this program in the back end or just outside of a browser. We know NPM, which lets us download and install these packages right here, Express and Moment. And we know Express, which lets us create a server, which lets us create a REST API, which lets us send data back to the user based on which URL or technically URI they hit. And so that's all Node.js, NPM, and Express are. You can call them like a substack if you want. Using JavaScript to write a program that responds differently based on which address your users navigate to with the help of a package called Express, which is just a library you download into your folder that gets managed by something called NPM, Node Package Manager. Don't forget to give a like, share, comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.